On March 5th, Invisible Children Incorporated released Kony 2012, a 30-minute documentary about Ugandan rebel leader Joseph Kony, head of Uganda's Lord's Resistance Army. Just 3 days after Kony went live, there were 200 responses to the video, each running 6 minutes on average. There are now over 500,000 comments.
We, quote, congratulate the hundreds of thousands of Americans who have mobilized to respond to this unique crisis of conscience. And I think that this viral video that you mentioned is part of that response, raising awareness about the horrific activities of the LRA.
Just how fast did it spread? The view count jumped from 4.28 million to 7.3 million in 45 minutes. And by the end of the day on March 10, Kony 2012 reached 40 million views. On March 11th, with more than 100 million views in 6 days, Kony 2012 has become the most viral video in history. Twitter users mentioned Kony more than 3 million times from Monday, March 5th until Friday afternoon. Also by Friday, March 9th, Invisible Children had more than 380,000 Twitter followers. The amount of celebrity support was incredible. However, just days after the release of the Kony 2012 video, criticism was quick to follow. Questions about their methods and expenses poured in, causing people to doubt just how logical the campaign really was.
Okay, so they think that you are becoming famous, making a name off of other people's plight, merchandising, and what have you. What do you say to them? Where's the money going?
Yeah, well, I think more than making ourselves famous, we're trying to make Joseph Kony famous.
So let me ask you about some of the criticisms you've attracted. I'm sure you expected some of this. The key one, I guess, is about the fundraising. Some reports suggesting that only 30% of the money that you've raised actually ends up going towards the effort. What can you say about that?
In response, Invisible Children posted videos to defend the Kony 2012 campaign, even breaking down their financial expenses. They added a page on their website specifically to respond to the mass criticism spreading worldwide. They made a personal note at the end of the response saying that they were trying to be as open as possible. Still, the campaign's response didn't do much to quiet down the critiques. Finally, all of this seemed to be too overwhelming for the director of the video, Jason Russell. On Thursday, March 15th, Russell was detained and put on psychiatric hold for indecent exposure, walking nude and behaving irrationally near his home. On March 18th, TMZ released a video of Russell's meltdown, causing him far worse criticism than before.
Breaking news tonight on one of the filmmakers behind Kony 2012. That's the viral video about Ugandan warlord Joseph Kony. Well, the man behind it has been picked up by police and taken to the hospital today. An official familiar with the case confirms that Jason Russell, who you see there, just on CNN last week, was found in his underwear running through the streets of San Diego yesterday, screaming and acting irrationally, and it appears it went downhill from there.
People didn't know what to think. What would cause the founder of this movement, an evangelical Christian and a loving father, to behave this way? Word spread that he was under the influence of alcohol or some other substance, but Invisible Children and his family quickly came to his defense. Danica Russell issued a statement addressing her husband's bizarre behavior, dismissing claims that it was due to anything alcohol or drug related. On March 21st, Jason Russell's family released the following statement, revealing that he had been diagnosed with brief reactive psychosis. Americans are not the only people questioning the organizational goals and leadership behind the Kony 2012 video. Many Ugandans feel disrespected by the initiative to make Kony famous. Others fear this fame will also bring him strength. Al Jazeera's Malcolm Webb reports from the Ugandan town of Lyra during and after the screening. Ugandans are confused as to why a white American man and his white American son dominate a film that is supposed to be telling a story about long past terrific events in their country.
Rocks are thrown, the screening comes to a halt, and the crowd scatters into the night. Kony 2012 may be the most watched video on YouTube this year, but it clearly doesn't resonate with many of the people it claims it's meant to help.
Meanwhile, in Kampala, a resident senior researcher writes an article titled Dangerous Ignorance, The History, Hysteria of Kony 2012. Having witnessed the birth and evolution of Invisible Children Incorporated, Adam Branch expresses his past feelings of frustration, anger, and helplessness in his attempt to fight against the organization's ignorance. Angela Ateem is one of the LRA's many victims. During her captivity, her arm was cut off as a punishment for no longer having the strength to walk. Believing the video to be too late and without purpose, she questioned, "What is this going to help? Kony cut off my arm. Will the video bring it back? Where were these groups when we were being killed by Kony?" Ugandans living in America express similar confusion in their reactions to the video's lack of relevance to Uganda today.
Last night I just see that this is like a trending topic on Twitter, and like this video has like millions and millions of views, and it's about Uganda and Kony. So I asked my mom, and my mom laughs and goes, "He died like 5 years ago." I asked my dad, and he's laughing about it, and he goes, "Why are we talking about this?"
The Prime Minister of the Republic of Uganda responds to the Kony 2012 video with a YouTube video of his own. He reassures the world that Uganda believes Kony to be an evil man, but clearly points out that Joseph Kony is not in Uganda. He lectures, "You may all be assured that the government of Uganda is acutely aware of the grievous damage which has been caused to our people by Joseph Kony and the Lord's Resistance Army. We do not need a slick video on YouTube for us to take notice." But Norbert Mao, current president of the Democratic Party in Uganda, responds positively to the efforts of Invisible Children.
We are saying the world should not forget that there's a very dangerous group known as the LRA, led by a self-appointed prophet known as Joseph Kony, who is right now, in my view, the most dangerous rebel in the world. But for me, I am happy that this film has been published so that we don't lean back in complacency, thinking that we have swept Joseph Kony out of our borders, so he no longer exists. We still have our children with the LRA. And potentially, this problem can easily restart. And that problem exists now, and it is urgent. No one can deny that this problem does not exist. Joseph Kony is a real problem. And Kony 2012 is trying to wake everybody up.
Invisible Children acknowledges the video overlooks many nuances, but says it sought to explain the conflict in an easily understandable format. It called the film a first entry point. This is true, and the Kony 2012 video was successful in raising awareness, and maybe even needed to simplify things in order to get people listening, talking, and sharing. Now, however, we need to take it a step further, and that is what this video is asking of Americans. Consider the progression of the Kony 2012 video, Joseph Kony's changing tactics, and the new geographic areas he has infiltrated. A Ugandan journalist contributed to the New York Times on March 20th and stated a solution that seems plausible and potentially even what should become the focus of the efforts of Invisible Children. In response to the Kony 2012 video and the criticism he received, he made this assertion. Although there have been many emotional responses, positive and negative, to the Kony 2012 video, Norbert Mao ultimately praises the video for its ability to succeed in accomplishing a difficult task, one of simply creating global awareness.
So how else to create awareness? Let those who are professors write their books and create academic awareness, but this one grabs you by your gut and shakes you until you are forced to pay attention. That's the essence of awareness. People are now paying attention.
It's easy to get caught up in the negativity surrounding the video, but we must remain focused on what is truly important, uniting to end a social injustice. So instead of showing the criticism and negativity, show me Kony.